There's a shocking truth. From Mesopotamia to the Amazon, from India to Australia, they all share a single myth: a great flood, a total destruction, and a hero. But what if these weren't just myths? What if 11,700 years ago, at the end of the Ice Age, an event truly happened? An event that changed humanity's collective memory forever. Today we're going to follow the trail of this lost memory, from the oldest written story in history to the legends that are still whispered today. Everything begins in the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates, where cities like Ur and Babylon once flourished. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest written flood story on clay tablets, around 2100 BCE, the gods, especially Enlil, the god of wind, storms, and destiny, always angry and loud, grew tired of humans. People multiplied, built cities, and their noise from farming, festivals, and wars disturbed the heavens. Enlil, like an irritated neighbor, says, "Let's destroy these noisy ants." And he announces a flood, not as a moral punishment, but simply for silence. But Enki, the god of fresh water, wisdom, and cunning, always kinder, secretly warns. Utnapishtim, finder of life, a righteous man and prince of Shuruppak, build a gigantic boat, the size of a stadium, 120 cubits, about 60 meters on each side, cube-shaped with 7 levels, walls sealed with bitumen, and an iron door. Take your family, craftsmen, animals, and supplies aboard. Utnapishtim, with calloused hands, built the ship in just 7 days, a symbol of the 7 ancient heavens. Rain fell for 6 days and 7 nights. The storm roared like a beast, and everything from the peaks of the Zagros Mountains to the Persian Gulf was swallowed by water. Even the gods panicked. He'd do the same as Enki, clung to the walls of the boat in fear. And Belit, the goddess, wept from hunger because humans no longer offered sacrifices. When the storm finally stopped, Utnapishtim sent out 3 birds. First a raven, which found food and didn't return. Then a dove, which came back because the land was still underwater. And finally a swallow, which returned holding a green branch, a sign that dry land had emerged. The boat came to rest on Mount Nisir, a peak in northern Iraq near Mount Ararat. Utnapishtim offered a sacrifice. The smell of the burning meat drew the gods, and they regretted what they had done. Enlil was furious, but Enki defended humanity. "Send a flood to cleanse, not to annihilate." In the end, Utnapishtim and his wife were granted immortality and exiled to Dilmun, the ancient paradise. This story draws from older myths like Atrahasis, c. 1800 BCE, and excavations in Shuruppak, c. 2900 BCE, reveal layers of flood sediment, evidence of a real catastrophe. Now we move to the Middle East, where the story of Noah from the book of Genesis, written around the 9th-5th century BCE but rooted in much older oral traditions, bears striking similarities to Gilgamesh but with a much deeper moral layer. God, Yahweh, the one God of justice, is angered by humanity's corruption, theft, violence, idolatry, and everyday sins. The earth is filled with violence. I must cleanse it, he declares, and announces a flood as punishment. Noah, a 500-year-old righteous and faithful man, likely inspired by the lineage of his ancestor Enoch, receives the command: build an ark of gopher wood, a sacred durable timber. Make it 300 cubits long, about 137 meters, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high, with 3 decks, a window for light, and a side door. Noah, with his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth and their wives, brings animals aboard. 7 pairs of clean animals, like sheep used for sacrifice, and 2 pairs of unclean animals, like the ostrich. They enter the ark as the world prepares for a divine reset. The rain falls for 40 days and 40 nights, a symbol of divine trials, like the 40 years of wandering in the desert, and the fountains of the deep, abyss. Underground waters burst open. The water covers all the mountains, up to 15 cubits, about 7 meters above them, and the flood lasts for 150 days. Noah stays in the ark for about a year, surrounded by the sounds of animals and the waves echoing like the laments of the world. He sends out the birds, the raven, which does not return because it finds food, and the dove 3 times, first returning with nothing, second with an olive branch, symbol of peace and dry land, and the 3rd time it is set free. The ark lands on the mountains of Ararat, a mountain range in modern-day Turkey, near the Armenian border. Noah offers a sacrifice. Its pleasing aroma reaches God, and God makes a covenant. I will never again send a global flood, and I set the rainbow, the luminous bridge, as the sign of this promise. Noah and his family repopulate the world, and his children become the ancestors of different nations. This story, which may have been inspired by the Babylonian captivity, 6th century BCE, stands as a symbol of divine salvation and hope. Let's go east, where in Hindu mythology, the flood is part of cosmic cycles, Manvantara Sandhya, millennial periods of destruction and renewal. In the Shatapatha Brahmana, a Vedic text from around the 6th century BCE, and the Mahabharata, the great epic, Vishnu, the preserver and sustainer, appears in the form of a fish, Matsya avatar, his first incarnation. Manu, the first human and lawgiver, similar to Noah and Adam, while drawing water from a river, finds a small fish begging him, "Protect me and I will grow and I will save you." The fish grows, eventually becoming ocean-sized, and warns, "A great flood is coming that will swallow everything." Manu builds a boat, bringing his family, the 7 rishis, sacred sages, plants and animals aboard. He ties the boat to the horn of the great fish, who guides it like a divine navigator. The flood covers everything, but the great fish guides the boat through terrifying waves to the peak of the Himalayas, the sacred mountain range. Manu offers a sacrifice using butter, milk, and sacred plants, and from the waters emerges a woman named Ida, also called Shatarupa, meaning 100 forms, who together with Manu becomes the mother of a new human generation. This story, elaborated in the Puranas, mythological texts, symbolizes the cycles of birth and death, samsara, and may reflect historical floods of the Ganges River or the melting of Himalayan glaciers. The Zoroastrians, the ancient religion of Iran, also have a similar version. Ahriman, the spirit of evil, sends a flood, but a man survives in a boat along with cattle, symbols of fertility, and together they rebuild the world. In Greek mythology, Zeus, the god of the sky and thunder, always just yet fierce, is angered by the corruption and wars of humans who were descendants of Prometheus, the god of fire who gave fire to mankind. "I will purge this race," he declares, and he sends a flood with endless rains and violent storms. Prometheus, who knows the future, warns his son Deucalion, washed by justice, "Build a boat and take your wife Pyrrha, the red-haired, with you." They remain in the boat for 9 days and 9 nights as waves crash over mountains and cities like Athens disappear beneath the water. The boat finally comes to rest on Mount Parnassus, the sacred peak near Delphi, home of the oracle. Deucalion and Pyrrha offer a sacrifice, animal bones, and the oracle of Delphi instructs them, "Throw the bones of your mother, Mother Earth Gaia, behind you." They throw stones, those associated with men from the soil, and those of women from clay, and the stones come to life, transforming into new human beings, a symbol of birth from the earth. This new generation, hard as stone, yet resilient, rebuilds the world. This story, told in the works of Ovid, the Roman poet, and Plato in Timaeus, around 360 BC, may reflect Mediterranean floods or volcanic eruptions, such as Santorini, and symbolizes moral purification and rebirth. In the Far East, the Great Flood is associated with Yu the Great, founder of the Xia dynasty, around 2200 BCE. But here, the hero is not someone who escapes the flood. but someone who controls it. According to legend, Emperor Shun, a mythical ruler, charged Yu with taming the catastrophic floods of the Yellow River. Yu worked for 13 years, digging canals, redirecting rivers, and learning even from his father, who had been exiled for failing the same task. In some versions, Yu's wife transforms into a dragon to help him, and Yu saves the world without an ark, a symbol of ancient engineering and human perseverance. This story, found in the Shangshu, the Chinese classical texts, likely reflects real historical floods of China's great rivers. In Central America, the Maya and Aztecs viewed the flood as part of the cosmic cycles of the world, the successive suns. In Aztec mythology, the fourth sun, Nahuatl, for water, is destroyed by a flood that lasts 52 years. A man, Quetzalcoatl, the god of wind, and a woman, Xalchitlic, the goddess of water, hide inside a cypress tree, a symbol of endurance. But the gods transform them into dogs so that humanity will not be corrupted. And the fifth sun, our current world, begins. In Maya tradition, in the Popol Vuh, the sacred book of the Maya, the flood is described as a divine cleansing, with the hero twins surviving the darkness and chaos. These stories, filled with themes of blood, sacrifice, and cosmic destruction, may reflect real Caribbean floods or ancient climate changes. Now, why are these stories so similar? The savior is always a righteous, chosen man, Utnapishtim, Noah, Manu, Deucalion, Yu, who receives a warning from a divine or supernatural being, Enki, Yahweh, Vishnu as fish, Prometheus. The ark or refuge always contains three essential elements: humans, the family; animals, pairs to rebuild life; and knowledge and provisions, craftsmen or sacred plants to restart civilization. The place where the vessel lands is always a sacred mountain, Nisir, Ararat, the Himalayas, Parnassus, and the act of sending out birds, raven, dove, swallow, to check for dry land is a shared detail that can't be accidental. The differences are fascinating too. Gilgamesh is polytheistic and brutal, gods who panic and go hungry. Noah is moralistic and monotheistic, a divine covenant. India is cyclical and philosophical, rebirth. Greece is magical, stones turning into people. And the Aztec version is bloody and transformative, humans turned into dogs. But what's the real secret? These myths may be memories of real ancient catastrophes. The key theory, the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, suggests that around 12,800 years ago, 800 BCE, a fragmented comet or meteor exploded in the atmosphere or struck North America. Evidence such as platinum nanoparticles, microspherules, molten droplets, and burned carbon layers has been found at over 50 sites worldwide. This explosion may have melted ice sheets, triggered global wildfires, caused sea levels to rise suddenly by 120 meters, and started the Younger Dryas, a 300-year period of abrupt cooling. It may have contributed to the extinction of megafauna like mammoths and major human migrations. The Black Sea deluge, around 5600 BCE, may also be the source of Middle Eastern flood stories, when 7,600 square kilometers of land were swallowed by rising waters. Could the Great Flood be the remnants of a forgotten advanced civilization? The lost civilization hypothesis. The ancient site of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, dated to about 9600–8000 BCE, the oldest known temple with T-shaped pillars carved with animals, was built right after the Younger Dryas. And some theorists, pseudo-archaeologists, claim that survivors of the flood who escaped extinction constructed this temple as a memorial or refuge. The pillars are filled with animals, lions, foxes, birds, almost like a symbolic release of Noah's animals, and the site is located near Mount Ararat, the traditional landing place of Noah's Ark. Was this megalithic structure built by simple hunter-gatherers, or is it a relic of an advanced civilization wiped out by the flood? Excavations show that Göbekli Tepe was a religious center, but its mystery remains buried, perhaps, a key to how humanity tried to rebuild its collective memory after the catastrophe. These stories show that humanity has always faced the end of the world yet. Like those lone ark ships, it's been reborn again and again, filled with hope, wisdom, and mystery. If this tidal wave of history swept you away, imagine how many more secrets are still waiting beneath the surface. Hit like so this video reaches more waves of viewers. Subscribe so you don't miss any ancient catastrophes, and comment, among the great flood myths, Noah, Gilgamesh, or Manu, which one fascinated you the most? Your support isn't just views, it's bringing forgotten memories back to life. Until the next video, where new waves of mysteries await, may the tides be with you. And remember, floods pass, but stories last forever.